Hi all. So I'm making the video in the dark today. I'm not really in the mood. I haven't made a video in a while. Since my brother passed, it's been tough. I did end up having my third egg retrieval on August 20th. And from the egg retrieval, they retrieved 15 eggs. 11 of them were mature enough to fertilize. Of the 15, and then 8 of them made it to day 5 of the 11, and I'm sorry, between day 5 and day 7, it went from 8 embryos to 3 embryos in a very short amount of time. So we have 3 embryos, which is a good thing. I'm grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. God is great, and I appreciate my 3 embryos. Thought it was kind of weird when I received a bill for $1,100 from the fertility clinic. And I noticed at the bottom, even just getting a receipt was, not a receipt, I'm sorry, an invoice just to see the itemized charges. Because I knew something wasn't right. So I asked the woman in billing for, when they called for payment, I noticed the woman kind of hesitant to just provide an invoice. She wanted payment immediately. Whatever. So long story short, come to find out, and I noticed at the bottom of the invoice it said iGenomics Lab, and I remembered ours were going to Natera for testing, not iGenomics. So long story short, they ended up having to correct a billing error, and the bill was $275. So I paid them their $275. I paid Natera almost $500. So we're about $900 deep again from just sending these 3 embryos for their genetic testing. So it's been a month now, and I paid all of these balances and bills this last month. I paid them all off, and I get a crazy call today, 4 weeks later, that all 3 of my embryos were not able to be, or they were able to, the cells that were biopsied from the embryos and sent to Natera for testing, supposedly Natera, it could be another place. I guess all the results came back as inconclusive. No results were given. So because of this, it can't be that something is wrong with the embryo, because it usually doesn't happen that often. And when it does happen, it wouldn't be 3 out of 3 embryos. It would be maybe 1 out of 3, or, if you had 10, maybe 1 of them wouldn't come back, but not all 3 of them. So looking at the big scope of things, it looks like maybe there's an internal lab error. So I got a call today, late night, 5:30, from a guy from the embryologist on his cell phone, that works at my fertility clinic, and he said that he's so sorry. And I was nervous. I thought he was gonna, he just said he was sorry. One of the reagents in the lab wasn't working, and they have to recreate a whole protocol now. So all of the egg testing has been halted in the meantime. Very, very weird excuses. I've been doing regulatory and clinical development for 14 years. Been working in a lab, master's degree in lab sciences for, 17 years. So I work in quality control and quality assurance, particularly in a laboratory setting, a clinical lab setting. And I don't understand what he keeps saying when the embryologist was saying, oh yeah, they tried to use the reagents and they realized there wasn't an error or a test or something. I don't even know the bogus excuse he was giving me. I just don't believe it. From a professional standpoint, it's unacceptable. Like, there's obviously a quality control and a quality assurance issue going on within the genetic testing lab. Yeah, I don't even know how to wrap my head around this right now. I told him, I said, this is unacceptable. I did. I said, this is unacceptable. I listened to what the guy had to say. The embryologist had to tell me over the phone. The fact that he was calling me on his cell phone and said, call me anytime tonight. The fact that they said that, it definitely worried me. So I know it wasn't good news. I just had no idea. So basically anybody who sends embryos for genetic testing can't get them tested now. So because of this issue with our 3 embryos, they've discovered in their lab that they have a quality control or assurance issue. So they don't even know when they'll be up and running again. And now here I am sitting wondering, what are my next steps? I can't get my genetic testing. Do I wait until the lab is up and running again? First of all, I have to figure out what they're lying about and what really happened. I really do think that they sent my eggs or my embryos to the lab that they were trying to charge me so much money for, the $1,100, not the correct lab for the $275 charge. So, which is also where we had all of our pre-work done. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, we'll just go to another vendor. It doesn't work that way. I already had my blood taken. My mother and father had to give sputum samples. My husband had to get his blood taken as well. This whole step has just been a lot. So here we are today. I'll talk to my doctor tomorrow. I'm surprised I didn't talk to him first and the embryologist called, but it just sounds a little fishy to me. I have to trust my gut on this one. I can use all of my educated and experienced skills, but I'm also biased because they're my eggs. You know these things happen in the lab, but you never want to have to make that phone call. Excuse me. It's really late and I've been up. I just got this news at about 8 p.m. tonight. Had a slightly long talk with the guy, the embryologist. I don't even know how to feel right now. So one of two things. I either have to wait until this lab gets their crap together and, starts which I know is bogus, but whatever. It's for them to not be able to do any embryo and egg testing. To me, that's rule number 1. Always have a plan B just in case, or another lab that you're contracted with, or somebody fucked up something, and I'll know hopefully soon. Yeah, so I can either wait for them to get their stuff together and freeze, thaw the eggs, thaw the embryos, take more cells from each of the, three embryos, take cells from each. It's about 5 to 7 cells. Send them for testing again for a second time, praying and hoping that they got it together. I know I'm being lied to. It feels like I'm being lied to, but I have to just go with it for now. Or I could not do genetic testing at all. That's a second option, and just work with what I got. Or a third option, not do genetic testing on the first embryo and try to implant that egg and then send the other 2 for testing. It's kind of playing Russian roulette a little bit, only because I am the carrier for muscular dystrophy and I suffer from multiple sclerosis. So it's, plus we would have liked to have known the gender. That would have been nice as well. I'm just exhausted after 3 rounds, and it doesn't sound like this ever happens. And if it does, it's few and far between. But here we are, 3 embryos, and all 3 of them don't have any results. Another thing I thought that was kind of fishy was that my doctor told me back on August 27th, which is a 6-day embryo. My doctor told me that it would take 10 to 14 weeks for the eggs to come back, or for the embryos to come back for testing. But on the website, it advertises 5 to 7 days, and it only took them a month from when they got it now to just give me the phone call today. I'm worried too, because my insurance also ends at the end of the month. So there's a couple of different things that I'm nervous about. When the guy on the phone not really whispered, but said under his breath that they were going to reimburse me and then also compensate me for this, I wasn't really thinking about money at the time, to be honest with you, but because he mentioned it, brought it up, and said it a little fishy under his breath, it sounded a little shady, so I want to at least cover my ass. I do feel like it makes sense to reach out to an IVF advisor of some kind, legal advisor, just because I feel in my gut that something's just not right. I'm kind of in a crossroad right now. I really don't know what I want to do. Yeah, this is something I'm going to have to think about. My doctor will be hopefully giving me a call tomorrow. I've asked for him to give me a call tomorrow so he can talk to me about it and we can figure out what to do. And I'll definitely keep you guys posted. I just wanted to give you an update. Round 3, and it just feels like we just lost 7 embryos last month, about 2 weeks before my brother passed away. We lost our 7 embryos, so I'm just praying and hoping that everything works out, because the way it's going right now, it's harder to keep the faith, but I'm doing my absolute best. I'm worried, I'm scared, it's hard to sleep, but I gotta stay hopeful and know that I gotta trust God and what his plan is. But I just wanted to, if you guys have gone through something, if you're watching this video and you've been through something, let me know if you've been through something similar. I would love to be able to connect with you. You can like, share, subscribe to my channel. Yeah, I'm gonna get going now. I have to be up pretty early tomorrow, and it's already over past midnight. So yeah, I'll keep you guys to be continued. To be continued. My heart is heavy. I don't know how much more I can take of these roadblocks, but I have to be strong. And I just gotta be grateful that my brother is looking down on me now, and us. But have a great evening, guys. Take care, and please, if you're going through something similar, or you can relate to what I'm going through, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. Peace.